Hello, my dear children. Hope you all are doing good. Let us continue with the lesson Social Stratification. So far, you have understood what is social inequality, education and inequality, and gender inequality. Today, let us begin the next subtopic, that is, what is the meaning of social stratification, what are its features, the major forms, untouchability, etc. So now, social stratification categorizes people or groups of people into a hierarchy on the basis of wealth, status, or power. So people are divided into different groups on the basis of wealth, status, and power. So, the method of dividing people into different strata or different category and assigning them different role and status in the society is called as social stratification. So, some of the features of social stratification are it is social in nature, social stratification is universal, social stratification is ancient, social stratification exists in different ways. Let us see one by one. The first one, social stratification is social in nature. So, the stratification is based on the social recognition and importance but not on any physical. A person's status cannot be fixed on how he looks, on his physical traits like his height, his personality, beauty, strength, but it is based on his education, income, profession, skill, and other social traits. Okay, so social stratification, what they do, it is based on the social recognition, how much they are educated, what work they are doing, how skilled they are, how much income they get, but not on how they look or their physical appearance. Next one, social stratification is universal. So wherever human society exists, no, social stratification is there only. It is present in different forms. It can be either in the form of division of labor, in the field of profession where they are working, income, and other social traits. Social stratification means what? Division among the people is there only. Human beings are there means division and differences there. It is universal. Social stratification is ancient. So social stratification is not something new, okay, which has started recently. Since the birth of human society, it is there. Not only that, it is found even in the nomadic society, when man was a nomad, when he was a wanderer, when he was roaming from one place to another in search of food. Even in the modern civilized society also, where man has made so much of achievement, now also we find this division. Next one, social stratification exists in different ways. So the social stratification exists in and the patricians, that is the commoners and the rich and the powerful people. In our country India, all of us know varna system, four groups of people: brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra. This was there in our country in the olden days only. So, through some of the major forms of social stratification, we will see. So, though social stratification is present in all the societies in different parts of the world, but their forms are not same. It is different. They have their own differences. It is different in the structure and the nature. In different parts of the world, different kinds of differences are there. For example, in the primitive society, olden day society, people were treated differently. Then we see slavery. In some countries, people were bought and sold like goods, okay, like slaves. They were made to do work for them. estate system. For example, monarchy, clergy, nobles, peasants. In the European countries, estate system. In our country, we are aware of varna system and caste system. So like this, these are some of the forms of social stratification. Now let's understand about untouchability, a social evil. So as you all are aware, the Varna system was present in our Indian society. It is believed that it was started during the Vedic period. Okay, the four Varna system. It is a system of social division in our country. And then it is based on the karma theory, that is Brahmana. They had the right to study, to teach, to participate in the yagnas, etc. A Kshatriya, he should be in the political administration. Vyasa, business. Vaishya, he should be in a business field or a trader. Shudra was a manual laborer. So all these people, they belong to these four groups. They were expected to perform their roles or fulfill their responsibilities by performing their respective roles. The fifth group only were considered as the untouchables. Okay, they were never treated as humans. Okay, so it was the fifth group only which suffered a lot in the society. Okay, the untouchable people faced a lot of problem. So the practice of untouchability, we see it began when in the during the Varna system only. The issue of touchable or untouchable is something very, what you can say, now we feel it is very silly, but then they had like profane and sacred ideas. Okay, it was based on inequality in the socio and economic areas of life. Untouchables and tribal people as scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. After they came, some changes were there, that is Britishers. So there are of great leaders of the past who are very much upset with this practice of untouchability in our country. Gandhiji, see, he says untouchability is a heinous expression of caste system. It is like a leprosy attached to the Hindu skin. Even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also was very much upset with this practice. He used to fight to address the issue of untouchability. So the untouchables, they face a lot of problem in the society. What are some of the problems that they faced? First one, like they were given the lowest position in the social strata. They were kept out of education, denial of property rights, and denial of political rights. So the first point, the lowest position in the social strata. So these untouchables, that is people belonging to the last category, they used to occupy the lowest position in the strata of a caste based society. According to Manu Smriti, anyone who touches the untouchables, they had to undergo purification many times, means they have to purify themselves by mistake. Also, if they touch the low class untouchables, they used to prepare footwear, they used to make shoes, sandals, slippers and all, but they could not use it. According to B. Kuppeswamy, they were assigned the lowest possible position in the caste system, which is very bad. Okay, they were not given respect, they were not treated like human beings only. Secondly, they were kept out of education. The untouchables were not given education for many centuries. They were not supposed to listen to the Veda recitation, not even listen. Okay, and they didn't have the right to even recite them. They were barred from learning Sanskrit, and they were not supposed to learn about any religious text. So they were kept outside the field of education. So education provides Ambedkar an entry into the issues of demanding social justice. This is an important development in the Indian context. Whereas we see in a democracy today, individuals have the right to decide on their personal issues. All have the right to think logically and act. But this was not there before. We see Ambedkar has played a very important role. He has argued and said that education is a public property. Okay, and that's why he is even called as the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. Thirdly, denial of property rights. These untouchables, they were not allowed to own any property and they were only expected to serve their masters, citing the denial of such rights in the Dharma Shastras. Okay, and the untouchables, they were denied property rights. This also was a very inhuman act. Okay, and it is against the human rights. As you are born as a human being, you are supposed to enjoy certain fundamental rights. But the way the untouchables were treated, no, it was the violation of the basic human rights. Then next, denial of political participation rights. So in the traditional political system, untouchables were not allowed to participate. They were not treated only like human beings where they will be given importance in the political field. During the British rule, the untouchables were given few political rights. Due to the efforts of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the untouchables, they could get some opportunities in the politics and in the administrative area. After the independence, the situation was different. Reservation was brought in effect everywhere, like tribes. So we see the Indian constitution provides a commitment. It was very much committed for the eradication of untouchability, which itself is unique, something different in the whole world. So our constitution is very important from this angle. As a result, many legal measures have been implemented in order to eradicate untouchability practice. So our people, the poor people, people belonging to the last group in the society, faced a lot of problem. They were insulted and humiliated. That should not happen in the future. Therefore, many legal measures were taken to eradicate untouchability. What are they? First of all, it was believed that untouchability is a social problem. Okay, and many leaders like Jyotiba Phule, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and all, they tried to fight against it, but it was not so easy. Therefore, legal provisions were implemented to eradicate it completely. The Article 17 of the Indian Constitution, it prohibits untouchability. The Government of India has implemented Untouchability Crime Act in the year 1955. Civil Rights Protection Act was implemented in 1976 with necessary changes to the Act of 1955. According to this act, practicing untouchability is a crime. Anybody is ill treated on the basis of his caste, he can be behind the bars. Strict punishment can be given to him. Universal rights to vote and participate in election has field of education and even employment for the SCs and the SCs along with the backward classes. And the Act of 1989 has given some specific responsibilities for the government in the eradication of untouchability. So, like this, children, the independent India has taken special interest in providing equality to all. This inequality should not be there in the society. Let it be in the field of education, let it be like in the gender discrimination. Okay, that discrimination should not be there in any field, even in the political field. As I told you, once we are born as human beings, we have the right to live with dignity. So, with this, I end today's lesson, children. I hope you have understood social stratification. Go through the points and watch the video. In case you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you.